So I thought we would just kind of have a back to basics sort of morning and really focus on being present because I had a really interesting conversation with someone this week that prompted that idea. And I was waxing very wistful about the many benefits of being mindful and in the present moment and all of these things. And I kept expecting this person's face to start, like smiling and getting bright and shiny and like, oh yeah, I love the present moment, woohoo. And that was not happening. This person's like face was getting increasingly more disturbed. And finally, I was like, this isn't working. And so I said, what's going on? You don't look like this is doing it for you. The person said, it sounds like a really good idea, but I hate the present moment. Like, I hate what's going on in my life right now. My relationship sucks. I don't like my job. There's nothing about being present that seems like a good idea to me.
Wow.
Now, I think this person was in a bad mood. We've all been there. But it really got me thinking because it's like, what a good question. What if I don't want to be in the present moment? Like, what if this moment isn't good? I mean, we all have present moments that are not, we'd much rather not be at, right? Like it could be something as significant as the diagnosis, right? You would rather not be in that doctor's office getting this news. Or it could be an argument with a loved one, like what about this would I want to be present for? And I think that is really the key that has, for me, certainly, I was just so grateful. And I circled back around to this person and I said, I just have to be so thankful and grateful for your candidness, because it would have been really easy for that person to just sort of go along with me. I was painting a beautiful, like, come on, they could have just been like, yeah. And I said, you really stood in your truth. And I so appreciate that, because that is what has gotten us to the mindless state most of us are in, is the avoidance, right? Like, I don't want to be making this food choice. I don't want to be dieting, or I don't want to be whatever the thing is. I don't want to. I'm going to escape.
That's very true.
Yeah. And so we have this habit. I certainly had developed this very well developed habit of avoiding and escaping, either by ruminating over the past or planning for the future. Even if it was just a few moments ahead of the moment I was in, I had really learned to live completely outside of the present moment.
Yeah, I think because we're all just so busy.
That's some of it, yeah.
We don't necessarily stop to smell the roses, so to speak.
But for me, I mean, I think that is absolutely sort of the overarching situation. I think though, for me, it's like, sometimes in my life, I don't want to stop because it doesn't feel like there are any roses to smell. If I feel like if I stop, I'm going to just smell the shit, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to just smell the crap. And some of it's mindset. I get it. But sometimes it's just sucky stuff. And so I really pondered it and I was like, what a great question. So what if I don't want to be present? And as I thought about it and I journaled about it, I realized, at least for me, the times when I am avoiding being present because it's painful are generally times where I am so attached to the outcome that I can't let go. I have this preconceived notion of what the present moment needs to be, and I cannot release my grip on, but it should be right? Like, but the diagnosis should be different. This argument should be going in my direction. You should be thinking what I'm thinking. I shouldn't be being fired right now, like whatever it is, and you're so attached to the outcome that you can't be in the journey. You can't be in the process. That is what it is for me. When I feel stuck in like, I don't want to be present, it's because I'm way too attached to the outcome. I have this preconceived idea that I don't want to let go of. And the only way to be present would be to let go of the outcome. Like, I can't control this.
To
Right?
lose control, control. That was exactly the word I was thinking.
Because I'm attached to the outcome. Like, but it's got to be this way. I've got to have my way. And the universe is going, good flipping luck. You're on a dirt ball in space, spinning.
Yeah.
You keep trying there, Starshine.
I think for me, I used to be so much more controlling than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And what broke me of that was getting cancer.
Yes.
Because you just cannot control anything about. You can control getting to your appointments, and you can control, I have to be there. But after I finished my radiation treatments, I was just going for a follow-up exam. I had an absolute meltdown because what's next? It's like I had, I could focus on my treatments. I could, I was done with my treatments. What the hell was I going to do now?
Right. Yeah. Because a lot of that sucked, quite frankly, the mortality of it. And I think that's what a lot of mindfulness teachers that I have studied, they'll use an example like getting cancer or something, and they'll say, the beauty of this practice is that we're trying to get to that space without or before having to go through, like, we're all going to have our moments, but do you have to have them to get, like, sometimes yes, but Susan, you have such wisdom of going through that. And if we could all, like you said, slow down and listen to the wisdom of that, maybe we'd have years before where we weren't so controlling and we got to live in that space, that after space before.
Let's get to the good without having to go through the bad.
Well, because there's just, again, we're all going to have bad, but if you can be present even in the suck, because that's really all there is. The past, it's so easy to say, right? Oh, the past is gone. But I mean, it's even what you remember never really happened, because we're unreliable narrators at best. And whatever it is we remember, it was only our experience. It was completely different for anybody else that was there. They saw it differently. They felt it differently. They heard it differently. They processed it differently. It's actually a completely different experience to anybody else that was there. So it's like, even whatever it is you remember didn't actually happen except to you. And it's just a memory and blah, blah, blah. The future is never going to get here. It's always the thing that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with a little mindfulness exercise. If you're interested in trying this out, I wrote a little, because as I started to think about it, a little picture came to my mind. So take a moment to settle yourself. Maybe I always find myself needing to like fix my clothing. All right, comfy. And just settle your feet on the floor and just accept this moment. And just bring your attention to your breath. So amazing how this breath is always there. Goodness. While we're sleeping, when we wake, through the day. The inhale and the exhale. Maybe if you'd like, bring the image of your breath as the waves on an ocean. Rising and falling. Some a little bigger and some a little smaller. And imagine you're standing at the edge of your own ocean. And as you look out to the horizon, the waves never end. The breath comes in and the breath goes out. And feel a sense of gratitude for the vastness of yourself and your breath. That you don't need to think about it very much. You don't need to think about it at all. Like the tide, the breath comes in and the breath goes out. And if you listen carefully, you can even hear the sound of your own tide. The inhale makes the sound, and the exhale, retreating. Maybe for a few breaths, add a little sound. Let that be the sound of your tide, the sound of your ocean. And this is your present moment. Standing on the shore of the ocean of your breath. Feeling your feet in the warm sand. Maybe you can feel the pressure at the bottom of your feet. The warm, dry sand just there at the edge of the breaking tide. And as you become more and more aware of your breath, imagine you're walking into the tide. You feel the sand change from a dry, crumbly sensation underfoot to the wet, bouncy sand just under the first wave. Breathing in and breathing out. And step a little deeper into the ocean. The waves now are maybe at your calves. The sand has changed a little bit, maybe a little softer. And the waves continue to come in and out. You breathe in And you breathe out. You step a little further into the water. Maybe now the waves are breaking at your thighs or your hips, just about at your abdomen. The waves are moving you a little bit. And then all of a sudden you feel that familiar feeling of the sand being drawn backwards into the ocean under your feet, sliding from your heel to your toes, and the undertow has arrived. Something's a little unpleasant. Something is pulling you forward, distracting you. And then a wave pushes you back. You start to be pulled and pushed away from the present moment, thinking about the past, worried about the future. It's a struggle. It's a struggle to stand still. The sand is pulling, the waves are pushing. Keep breathing in and out. You feel stuck in between this place of push and pull. You've all been there, familiar feeling at the ocean. And we all know the best way to manage it. Lift your feet up. Pick up your feet now and float. Feel the weightlessness of your body on the waves. Spread your arms out wide on top of the salt water. Let go of the outcome. Notice how the struggle has subsided. The waves are still there, breathing in and breathing out. Stay with the breath. Ride the waves. This is your ocean. You're safe here. You will not be drawn too far out to sea. You can always come to this tide. Lift your feet and rest. As you inhale, ride the top of the wave up. And as you exhale, gently allow the body to go down. Lift it up with the next inhale. Gently cradled with the exhale. Make them waves as big or as small as you like. Feel your body move. Stay right here for a few more breaths. Imagine the current is now just drifting you a little closer to shore. Each wave brings you a little closer to the beach without struggle. Feel the weightlessness. And whenever you're ready, you can touch your feet back down. Feel the solid sand under your feet. It's your decision if you'd like to stand up. Take a few last breaths mindfully. And you can decide when to walk back towards the beach. Maybe wiggling your fingers and toes, shaking a little bit of water from your body. Maybe rolling your shoulders to come back into your lived experience. Standing at the beach, turn back and look at the ocean of your breath, knowing that it's always there for you, always safe, always a place you can rest. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. How you doing?
That was great imagery.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. What do you think?
The beach is one of my favorite places, just to listen to the sound of the waves. And I actually pictured the waves like cradling me
Mhm.
and brought me to like a chaise lounge at the end, where didn't put me on the ground because it was all sandy, but there was just this chair that like it was lifting me up to the sun, and
Oh,
then it was
I love that.
My experiences with the ocean have been in pretty rough seas down in North Carolina.
Mm,
And what you learn is you just can't fight it. You just got to go with it.
yes.
And I think that kind of relates to
I
life in
have to
general.
remember that. I have to remember that image when things get a little crazy.
Yeah, I think, we've all had that experience of being at that spot in the waves where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. The sand's pulling me this way and the wave's pushing me that way. And as soon as I stand up, another wave is coming, and you have to sort of make that decision, right, Sandra, that you're sort of talking about is, am I getting out or am I going in? But I know what I can't do. I can't keep fighting this present moment. I've got to be in it. And, there's a couple of ways to do that, right? You can turn sideways. That sort of works. You can dive under, or you can pick your feet up and just let it have you. And, I've often liked to think of my breath as the ocean. It has that sound, it has that movement, it helps me to slow it down. And yeah, so it's always there. You've sort of got this beach inside of you. You can
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Go back to your heart. That's where you live. And visit your beach anytime. Well, this was, as always, just really a lovely way to spend Friday morning. I just look forward to it. So,
I do too.
yay. It'll be really fun. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you when I see you.
Yep.
Hopefully for yoga. All right. Take care, friends.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Yes, you too. Bye bye now.
Bye-bye.